Hey guys, Awesome Fusion here, and welcome to AD Carry Breakdown Severe. And first, before we get into the game, I just want to explain a little bit about what AD Carry Breakdown is. So, it's analysis of a game where it doesn't specifically matter whether it's Severe, Corki, or any other AD carry, but it's in the perspective of an AD carry, and it's just an analysis of a game. It's not a guide or anything like that. So, yeah, take it for what it is. Anyway, this one's Severe, and this was, of course, as you can see, in a team game. I haven't been playing Severe for too long, but she's quite a good AD carry, and I think she can certainly become popular again. She was very popular before, and of course, we're starting at level 1, where neither of us really has been able to get a good engage off on each other. Of course, the vision here, obviously we can see everyone, but if you just check in perspective of them, that's all they can see. Perspective of us, that's all we can see, so we can't always get a proper good engage off. So we're just kind of poking around with each other. In fact, they probably have a better team for poking level 1, like Sona and Ezreal. It's pretty damn good for level 1. Although Darius, I don't really like at all, unless he actually manages to hook someone. But obviously you can see we're winning this trade quite heavily here. In fact, we're almost killing them. But I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward this and get back into the laning phase, because nothing else happens on level 1 here. See, unfortunately here we weren't able to get golems because there wasn't enough time, but there was enough time for me to buy a 4th pot and still get to lane without taking damage, so consider that. And here I shouldn't have got hit by that Ezreal Q, but sometimes it happens. But here was a problem I could have avoided. I sort of got a bit ahead of myself, and I also didn't pot that that Q Ezreal had done on me. And that was a bad trade for us. So we traded AD carry flash for support flash. So that is not a good trade for us. So what I should have done was just let my Q go and do damage to Sona. I shouldn't have gone so like crazy. That's it really. Should have just taken free damage for what it was. Although Sona's really low, and I've actually got pots and Sona doesn't. So that's gonna give us a slight of an advantage when I get my health up a bit more. So Taric here, he flashes to try and get Sona because he would have been able to actually kill her if she didn't have exhaust. So the only reason she didn't die was because she had exhaust. So now, because I'm like half health, I can sort of like zone them by myself, which is handy to have. And Sona's still on 10% life. If I had flash, I would have been able to kill her a long time ago, but unfortunately I don't. And her flash is up basically exactly the same time as mine. So we both kind of know that. Goddamn directional camera putting me into mid. Anyway, I'm going to fast forward this a little bit because nothing happens for a while because we're both so low and we're just sort of afraid of dying. So I'm just sort of like taking advantage of Sona being really low, pushing it up. Because when you push the lane up, it can only go good unless you get ganked. Because there's nothing wrong with them having to fight for their tower for the CS. But Sona's, unfortunately for us, healed up a little bit more now. Although if she takes any more damage, she'll be back into the low zones again forever because she hasn't actually got any pots or anything. So I'm kind of just trying to keep getting my CS. I'm sort of waiting till my flash is up again. I'm on about half cooldown of that, and I'm kind of just afraid of Udyr coming and ganking, because aside from Taric Stun we have nothing to protect us, obviously. And you can see I'm taking a little bit of harass from Sona there. That's just something you're just going to have to accept when you play against Sona, that you're just going to get harassed like hell for a bit. And that's why she's generally... So, yeah, Udyr's coming down here to try and gank us here. I remember this bit. He doesn't really gank us much this game, just sort of that one gank. Generally on Udyr you want to gank, just camp top lane, and certain mids as well you can camp as well, but regardless of that, we're quite pushed up here, but we know it is a mid, that's why we're staying pushed up. We reacted pretty quickly when he came to gank us, and that's all we had to do really. As long as you react quick enough when you have wards, you can be as pushed up as you like. It's just a constant strain on your mental ability, and it's hard to do it every game. So both of us are sort of playing a little bit passively, even though we probably should be playing a bit more aggressive, simply because Taric generally beats Sona in lane. Before 6, anyway. Before 6, Taric generally beats Sona, but then it can sort of go either way. Sona slightly having an advantage. But aside from that, it's coming up to around 7 minutes, so I guess that's why Nunu's around there. And we're sort of, we're in an okay position. We're basically the same health as them. In fact, I shouldn't have let it push like this so much if I knew Nunu was going to be doing that, but it doesn't seem like they have a clue anyway. I should have been pushing this as much as I could beforehand. And I think we actually, yeah, we see him on the ward recalling here. And Taric actually goes in and stuns one of them, but unfortunately gets taken down to like 40% health, so it wasn't exactly the best trade then, even though it might have seemed like it would have been. And getting harassed a little bit more. Unfortunately, we don't have a ward because we've been here for so long. We don't have a ward for the brush, so Sona can just free harass out of that and not get too damaged. So because they gained an advantage, attacking Taric, because they gained an advantage taking his health down a lot, they're basically just staying in lane only because of that. Otherwise, they would have just recalled then, obviously. At least that was obvious to me. And then I actually did a good spell shield for once, and I could tell he was going to do his combo, and I actually spell shielded his Q or his W. I'm not entirely sure which one it was, but that was good there anyway. So I'm just going to fast forward that a bit because all I'm going to be doing is pushing creeps as fast as I can. So the reason I'm not pushing it further is because if I pushed it further, it would have just gone into it would have like held outside of their tower, and by leaving it just there, it leaves it equal in the middle of the lane. So I can get back in time. They won't be able to push it to the tower before I'm back. But I'll lose a few creeps, but the way I did that is I minimized the amount of creeps I would lose in the by me backing. So here, okay, wait, let me reiterate my point I made earlier about when Sona gets stunned. So here Taric runs up to Sona, stuns him. I just do my Q here because I know we're not going to kill him, are we? Taric done his ulti, but that doesn't matter. It's on a short cooldown. It's not really too important. But because I know we're not going to kill her, I don't go in much further. All I do is do my Q and get some free damage off. So that's where I learned from my mistake earlier on in the game and didn't do a trade that would be detrimental for us. Goddamn directed camera. Anyway, so we're pushing the lane a little bit now. I'm actually like behind on 10 CS, 10, 12 CS because I just fucked up some of my CS. That's pretty much the only reason. Sometimes if I'm rusty or something, it happens. It happens to everyone, but happened to me this game. But either way, we're basically on the same items, sort of. Ezreal's gonna have an advantage with that Phage, simply because Phage is just OP in lane. Well, it's not OP in lane, but it's OP early, anyway. Like no matter what you're playing, whether it's Corki or Ez, it's really good early. And see, then I tried to do my spell shield to block some damage, but Ezreal didn't actually put any damage out to me, and Sona didn't actually hit me with any of her abilities either. So I ended up just wasting mana. And here I didn't actually I didn't react in time for that, and I sort of ended up having to waste my flash here. So unfortunately, Taric just gets hit straight with that Ezreal ultimate and gets taken out. But I get a kill as well, so it's not all bad. And we have Sloopy coming down here to try and do something, but he's a little bit too late. It's nothing that's going to come of that really. Akali can burst, but she can't burst that bad. So I'm alone in the lane here. I'm not too afraid because Sona obviously already used her ulti. And here Ezreal's just like, fuck you man, I'm not going to let you CS. Keep going. And he waited actually until my spell shield ran up before he Q'd me. It's just... he's just trying to be as annoying as he can to me while I'm alone. And once more I'm getting hit by stupid Ezreal Qs. I shouldn't be getting hit by those. It's a rookie mistake. Oh, for some reason I just get boosted up to that. I need to find a way to keep it on me somehow. Either way, I'm pretty low, and I think someone's here or something. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why I backed off so much there. But either way, I'm low. I have to go back. I get my pickaxe. It's kind of annoying that Swain ganked us then, but It was only my fault. I shouldn't have had to waste my flash. But it was good that I flashed Sona anyway. Flashed her ultimate. But either way, I managed to push this up because they went back like at an inopportune time for them. And I'm just staying in range for the CS as much as I can. But if you've noticed, the last 3 to 4 minutes, we haven't really been laning properly against them, and that's mostly due to the Swain gank. That basically caused this entire episode of us not fighting each other in lane. Just because of the Swain gank, like, I was out of lane for some time, so was Taric. And now they've actually just... Is there any... No, there's just no wards from us there. And they're just doing Dragon because it has Oracle. So we can't really do anything about that. I'm just trying to stay as safe as I can because I have no idea if they're there or not. And of course, Udyr was actually coming into that bush, so it's a good thing I did back off. So I'm going to be a bit behind CS. I'm like now 25 CS behind Ezreal, so there's not much I can do about that though. And unfortunately, Taric's just going to get screwed here. At least Sona got the kill though, so it's not too big of a deal. This is only due to the fact of Udyr like just coming and camping our lane basically. It's not like we're playing exceptionally bad or anything, and that's why we're getting owned. It's kind of just a combination of Udyr just coming and camping our lane, which is why I couldn't really get CS for a long time as well, because he had Oracle. But here, this is quite pointless to do anything here. I mean, well, I got a kill there, but if I'd done this a little bit better, I could have gotten away as well, and it would have been a 2 for 3. Because obviously, this Kali's kind of like making up for Swain roaming earlier, so she's here alone. I could have done that a bit better. I could have survived, I think. Somehow I could have survived. Let me go back and have a look. So Nunu keeps going in here. It's probably a bad idea to keep going in so much. We should have waited for Akali, I think. And here I should have backed away straight away. I should have backed away straight away here. I shouldn't have kept trying to fight. That's what would have saved it for me. But oh well. Either way, fast forward past this. Get back. So Akali pushes this up while Swain's constantly pushing mid. Unfortunately, they're probably going to get mid tower. Yeah, they just get mid tower, and I tell Nunu here, I think we can kill Swain, and I activate my ultimate. We keep chasing him down. Nunu's got him slowed, and if Nunu just backed off right here after doing a snowball, we could have easily killed him. I could have just finished him off, and also he would have stopped taking. He would have stopped healing himself from Nunu, but yeah, that was mostly a misplay from Nunu. I couldn't really do anything else more there. It was all down to him. All I was there for was damage, really. But because no one's in mid, I've just pushed this up to try and get the tower as well, in retaliation. And this could be a second tower that we'd get. And we kind of just wanted to wait here and catch someone off guard, but in the end it ended up just being a waste of time. I should have been doing more damage to the tower. But, yeah. So I have my BF. I have a little bit of CS back. Ezreal's quite a bit ahead of CS in me, as you can see, obviously. Mostly because of a combination of the jungler coming to gank us, their mid coming to gank us, and me messing up a little bit. That's why it's like a 30 lead in CS. But I'm able to farm all this. We actually retaliated with getting the bottom tower, so it's not too bad. We're not too far behind. And Jace is actually doing pretty well top, so we have that tower as well. And that should affect the fights as well. But it is got that Oracle. It's quite strong. And I'm coming up now, mostly because just the rest of my team wants me to come up, and we think it's time that we start doing fights. And Taric just makes a play, basically, and flash stuns Sona, and we just burst her as quick as you can, and she doesn't even manage to get her ulti or her exhaust off. So now thinking about it, going into this fight here, there should be no way that we could be able to. We should lose this, getting such an advantage like that. So in this situation, ideally we would not split and we would stay together and kill the same targets. But I was sort of cut off a bit and I couldn't really keep going with them. But I come around this way anyway, and because they've chose this way to run, we've just cornered them in completely and they're just screwed. There's no way, like, most of them can get away. I think Udyr actually manages to get away. He just starts running and OP shield. But unfortunately Taric dies as well. But that just this sets the stage for me to snowball for the rest of the game. Because I got some kills earlier, luckily, and I farmed a bit at bottom, and I go up top there, and we corner them in, and I get a triple kill. That is just setting the stage for me to get really fed and carry the rest of the game. Not only from that, it's because we have a Nunu as well, who's just going to be buffing my attack speed so much. I'm going to have Trinity, Infinity Edge, so I'm just going to be doing I'm just going to be doing so much damage in team fights. Anyway, fast forward this a little bit. They're getting Dragon, which is something partly my fault because I was pushing mid for so long, and I wasn't there to help my team defend it. But I would say getting a tower isn't too bad of a trade for Dragon. You can always get X amount of dragons. There's only so many towers you can get. So pushing up here, we feel we have an advantage, which we actually do. So that's why it's not as much as you'd think. 1.5k, even though we have 4 kills. Looks like we'd have more, but we're just pushing up a bit. We don't really have the best team to like pick someone off and kill them instantly. Well, we have a Kali, but we don't really have the best team to like siege towers like this. We have a little bit of poke with me and Jace, but it's a little bit of poke. It's not much poke at all. Well, obviously Swain's just going to heal himself up. And the main reason I think why... So we're going to lose some team fights soon, and I think the main reason why we lose these team fights is because of this. See, now Jace got really ahead, but that doesn't matter if like he needs to be tanky regardless of being ahead. This is what people do sometimes on bruisers incorrectly when they're ahead, is they buy like really aggressive items in Trinity Force and stuff, and they don't buy the correct items. So here Taric stunned, and that let me go back and show you again. So here Taric stuns, and it kind of like baits our entire team out to getting Swain snared. See, obviously I'm in no danger of getting Swain snared because I just spell shielded it. But Knucklehead and Plasma, see, now they're in the middle of everyone because of Darius. And unfortunately, all I can do is like one-shot Sona here because the rest of my team is like killed. So I killed Sona as quick as I could, which was very quick. Like she barely could even react to that. And I killed her as quick as I could, but the rest of my team just kind of bursted down. That wasn't really my fault at all, and it wasn't really Taric's fault. It was kind of like a miscommunication error. Anyway, they're starting Baron, so I'm coming over to see what I can do, you know, because I don't want them to get Baron. There's not really much you can do with two people, especially when you're not like something with tons of CC. Is usually what's good when the enemy team's doing Baron, simply because you just make the Baron do loads of damage to them. But I managed to get Ezreal to like 20% here, and it's a very big possibility that we can kill them all. But unfortunately, all we do is make a flash. So at this stage, we're sort of like, damn, we're kind of just throwing this. But if you look at the gold, they're like equal to us still, regardless of them getting Baron. So it's pretty clear what went wrong in that last fight by now. So I'm just going to fast forward it a little bit. And obviously here, we're just sort of poking with them a bit. We're just playing with them. They have Baron, so we don't want to initiate. And unfortunately, when you're trying to poke a team, you don't really want to be trying to poke them when they have Baron, because they're just going to regen it all up. As you know, Baron gives you like tons of regens. So here they're coming up here, right, to attack our tower. So Udyr gets really close and starts attacking it. Taric stuns him, but what they didn't realise was that we're just going to be able to get so much free damage off onto Udyr when he's stunned like that. And I just do loads of damage to him, ulti, when I know we have a good advantage. And we just basically snowball them from there. I'm able to take out Swain here just because there's no point letting him go. There's no one else to to finish him off with. So Akali here does something really stupid. He just runs forward for no reason and just gets killed by Ezreal. That was a bit silly on his regard. But we still won that fight pretty heavily. I'm actually really fed now. I'm 9-1. The strongest person in the game. Let's see the gold. Right, so I have 10,000 gold. The only person who's near me is Ezreal. He has 10,000 gold as well. That's because they have more global gold than us. And he has a bit more CS. So that's the reason why he's on the same gold as me. So actually I was lying. Both AD carries, pretty damn fed. Anyway, continuing the game. I actually feel like when I was playing this game, I actually felt in these team fights like I couldn't be touched. This is why I don't build GA till later on. I just felt like I couldn't die in these team fights. And for the most part, it's true. I was actually really, really difficult for them to kill in these team fights, and I was putting out a ridiculous amount of damage. And the sort of team that we have and the team that they have, we kind of like counter them in the sense that we have Nunu with the Zeeks. Taric is quite good for melee buffs. Jace with his acceleration gate, and my ultimate with the attack speed and the movement speed makes it really easy for us to kite around Udyr and Darius, and that's why pretty much I don't get touched, because they don't have any bruises that can kill me. The only person that sort of does anything to me is Swain, and this ends up not being a very good fight for us either, mostly because our tanks kind of just get instantly owned. I actually spell shielded Sona ulti there, and as you can see, Udyr just kind of gets a bit low from me and someone else. Same with Darius, and they both just kind of run away. They're able to just get away because we have nothing else to follow up with it. And Nunu's not very tanky at all. Look at his items. He doesn't tank very much damage. He just gets instantly bursted in that fight. So, but either way, we're able to win the fights where we're sort of like at our tower. Makes it a bit easier. So here, Ezreal kind of just sneakily steals our red buff, which is very frustrating. So I assume in that chain vest he's going to go for GA, which will mean it's very difficult for our team to kill him. But I'm going to be doing more damage than him because I'm going for Last Whisper. I just want to do maximum amount of damage as fast as we can. So they've gotten a second Baron now. They're actually 5k gold ahead of us. Darius has a GA. Who else has a GA? No one else. It's just Darius on their team. So they're actually quite a bit ahead of us. And you may be wondering, how can we win this game? Well, you'll see. So they're all recalling here. We're like, oh god, we let them get Baron again because we didn't know the timer on of it. It's just a kind of a newbie mistake. But we keep trying to get what we can. We're trying to catch someone here because we're like so desperate for kills. We use the Jace, E, and the Shurelias, I think. It was mostly because Darius was bottom. That's why we were trying so hard to pick someone off there. But unfortunately it didn't work. I'm just going bottom here because there's nothing else for me to do. We don't have to defend anywhere, so I might as well just get some free farm wherever I can, where there's no consequence. That's the best kind of farming you can do as an AD carry, farming where you have no consequence to farming, which is like in the laning phase, in situations like this. Whereas when Baron's up and their whole team's near it, you can't exactly go bottom and farm unless something lets you. And that's consequential farm. Anyway, getting off topic a bit. Ezreal has his GA up. I have my Last Whisper up, so I will do more damage than Ezreal probably. Well, no, definitely I'll do more damage than Ezreal because I have my ultimate attack speed buff, Nunu attack speed buff, Infinity Edge, Last Whisper. But Akali should not be taking those massive Qs. They really chunk down her health. Like Ezreal Q at the moment does like 10% of Akali's health. So they're just obviously playing aggressive as they have Baron, pushing up as much as they can. So Swain actually catches Akali here with his thing, with his snare, and I'm just kind of backing off a little bit, making them tank the tower if they want to do damage to us. I'm kiting whoever I can. I'm just hitting the closest target to me right now. I'm just hitting Udyr, I think. Yeah, I'm mowing down Udyr slowly as quickly as I can. Because he flashes away, I just swap onto Darius, and where am I again? Okay, here I am. I'm just staying in the middle of my team. See, it's easy for my team to back out because they have the tower right here, but it's not easy for them to back out. Well, it's not as easy for them to back out. So they find it very difficult to completely dive us, just simply because of how much damage I'm doing. But we backing off a little bit. I actually get caught here. I shouldn't have got caught, but I really don't actually take too much consequence from that. That was completely unrelated. Like, Jace just got caught in Swain's W by himself. So we lose our inhibitor here. Akali's trying to push up and chase whoever we can down. We're kind of like wondering if it's possible for us to win at this point. But we push out everything anyway. There's a bunch more farm I can get at bottom. Luckily, it just came here. And I'm actually now 30 CS ahead of Ezreal. So who would have thought I would end up being that far ahead in CS? It's just mostly because I'm farming the the late game creep waves better. That's the only reason. I'm managing the creep waves better late game and getting more out of it. So I now have my chain vest. Obviously, I'm going to turn that into GA, and we're kind of just going bottom now because we know that's where they're gonna attack. And Plasma actually kind of like catches Swain here off guard a bit, but because Taric stuns it here, I'm just like, screw it, let's go. I activate my ulti, get as much damage, free damage off onto him as we can. And I should have probably I should have E'd Sona's ulti there because I actually had it up. I had nothing to do it on. And I see, like, we all see together that Darius kind of like mispositions himself here and gets like caught out in between everyone. And Swain, like, I've seen a lot of Swain players try to do this where they think they're fed enough that they build Zhonya's and they just rush in, do a couple spells and do Zhonya's, but it's not really enough. It doesn't really do much damage to me at all. And all we do is back out, and all we do is back out and basically wait to kill him because they're right next to our tower again. That is the major flaw of their team, is that they keep fighting us when we're right next to our tower. So here, all I'm doing right now is when Ezreal's coming back up. I'm not sure if he has E or Flash, but yeah, he actually has Flash. But because I'm holding attack move and just clicking right next to him, and Plasma and Knucklehead are doing the same, we basically instantly kill him before he can even Flash or E over. So we take down this tower. Nunu just tanks it because it's easy for him to do that. See, even though Nunu's 0-7 right now, it's quite easy for us. It's quite easy for him to be more useful than Udyr, just simply because of his Blood Boil. Like, Udyr's tanking a lot of damage and being a bit annoying and stuff, but Nunu's giving me so much damage and slowing so much of like their bruiser's attack speed with his Frozen Heart. It just kind of makes it easy for me to kite them around and just do tons of damage to them. It also doesn't help for their team that they have like 3 really weak late game champions. Darius, Udyr and Swain are like really weak late game, in case you didn't know. So we're kind of like grouping up again. I have my GA now. I believe I'm double potted. I'd be surprised if I wasn't double potted in a situation like this. Not sure how you can see. But either way, we're doing the kind of group up for Baron dance. Now, when this is happening, Soupy always likes to push mid so that we don't lose our base or inhibitor while we're fighting, which is a common thing that happens. So we're just sort of delaying them as much as we can while Soupy pushes mid. We tell him, now's the time, you need to come now, Soupy. We group up. We're actually poking them a little bit, which is great, and they're actually taking dragon damage, so if we can engage on them when they're taking dragon damage and they're getting poked, then that's perfect. See, in this situation, if I was on their team, I'd be freaking out right now. Mostly because there's really no reason for them to be fighting dragon. But of course, Darius makes a play. He tries to E me into them, but I just simply flash away quite quickly. Sona didn't really use her ultimate quickly enough if they wanted to kill me. And here you can see Ezreal doesn't have his GA, and he just kind of gets wrecked by Akali. There's nothing he can do. He just dies instantly, and I'm just sitting here doing as much damage as I possibly can to whoever I can. So Udyr goes off to try and help Ezreal here. Sorry about that, it was just my phone. Anyway, Udyr goes off to try and help Ezreal here. Unfortunately, he just gets taken down by instantly by Akali, and this Ezreal ult should just, yeah, okay, so Akali gets killed by that. I'm just killing whoever I can. In this sort of moment, I derped, and I sort of stood there taking too much damage that I didn't really need to take. But either way, I'm waiting for him to regen. Taric, unfortunately, dies here. We still have Nunu. That's the saving grace for me. We still have Nunu. He does so much damage. I mean, he makes me do so much damage. So I run in. I get as much damage off as I can. I probably could have done a better job of kiting them actually there. And I come back. Ezreal's still really low, of course. I'm hitting Sona because she's the only one I can hit. And as soon as Ezreal comes back in, I just hit him. And that is pretty much almost the GG from that. But I think we're only able to take out an inhibitor because, yeah, Udyr's spawning around now. So we take out the inhibitor, which is going to really help us a lot. And we just go straight to Baron after that because Nunu Severe can do Baron so damn quick. Well, Nunu and any AD carry can do Baron so damn quick because you can take turns tanking it. I have a bunch of lifesteal. And by the time the rest of my team get there, I just whack my ultimate on and we finish it. So now we've just gone from being like 2 Barons behind, tons of gold. We're basically equal with them again. But at this stage of the game, it doesn't really matter, simply because it's so late game. But then again, looking at Jace's items, it's 43 minutes and he still only has a Bloodthirster, Trinity Force, and a Chain Vest. So, saying that, this is what I meant when people go these type of builds, these type of full AD builds. It kind of can stop you snowballing and put you in the other direction pretty much, because although Darius doesn't really have too much items, he's kind of being a lot more annoying than Jace is. Akali is the main one who's killing Ezreal. And as you can see, Ezreal has built no magic resist. All he has is 38 magic resist from Guardian Angel. So I really think if he didn't just go with the crazy, with the typical, oh, I'm going to build Guardian Angel every game build that people do. Obviously, I'm going to do it here because I'm against hardly any AP. All I have is Swain. And he hasn't even got Death Cap by 45 minutes. So it's not really like I have a lot of AP damage to contend with. But against things like Akali, LeBlanc, things that really mega burst you with AP, you do need to get a Negatron rather than just getting a GA as quick as you can. But anyway, I'm just sort of, I think I'm waiting a bit of gold for something. But our Baron buff, I can't actually see the buffs for some reason. I hate that. Oh, right, you can see them on the top. Our Baron buff's like a quarter left, so that's why we want to push this tower with it. We want to try and get something with it, but so we come up with the final push. Swain's just trying to catch whoever he can, wave clear a bit, but Ezreal's GA is up again, and where is Darius? Yeah, his GA is up again as well. And Darius, if he's look at his items, all he's got is a Phage, a Thornmail, and a Randuin. So Jace and Darius kind of have opposite builds, although Jace's build is slightly better now because he has GA, but it took him a long time to get those items, didn't it? 47 minutes it took him to get to get Bloodthirster, Trinity, and GA. So consider how long it can take if you're going a AD kind of build like that. So 3 of us have GAs. We're just going into jungle, getting a red buff late game is just so important. And they're obviously a bit scared about face shaking brushes. But we're just trying to do as much poke as we can. And even though we don't have Baron right now, we're still taking a commanding role in the game. Because if we die here, if we all died here now, it's much better for all of us to die here now than for all of us to die here instead. So this is mostly why we're fighting here, because we feel like we're in a position where we can choose where we want to fight, and choosing to fight in their territory is always better. So you can see at this point how little attention. I'm just going to freeze it here. You can see at this point how little attention people are paying to Akali, how little respect they're giving her burst. But she hasn't got Death Cap yet, but she's just got DFG, Lichbane, and Hextech for damage, but they have a lot of CC and she has got Merc Tread, so she can sort of survive through that. So just with 2 Q auto attack combos, she takes Swain down to that health. So that just shows how little they're respecting Akali's damage. And because he does all that damage to him, Swain's made to instantly Zhonya's, and he probably should have got killed a bit quicker than that, because he actually isn't dying too fast there. But Akali just jumps right back in, does as much damage to Ezreal and Udyr, I think it is, as he can. And I'm just sort of like camping on Sloopy's body because I don't want him to die. As much as like I'm trying as hard as I can to like stop him from dying. But Swain just goes a bit too close, a bit too far in with his Zhonya's down, and I know his Zhonya's down, and basically just gets popped. So that was a very, very strange fight. It was completely different to all the other fights. It kind of didn't really represent the rest of the game, but it was kind of anticlimactic, really. No one. It wasn't a huge engagement where everyone died, which is kind of what I wanted. But either way, they for some reason keep crazily pushing onto us here. So I'm like, screw that. I'm like really high health. I wanna fight these guys. I'm not afraid of them. But obviously the rest of my team can't really do the same. Otherwise Ezreal will probably just kill them. But we're actually on higher health than them. Their team's still dead, so we're just like, there's no point risking another fight. So we just push in as quickly as we can, and I'm just like hitting whoever I can, and we wait until they make a mistake like this, where they just kind of push in way too far, and now everyone's dead basically. So I'm just hitting the base. There's nothing really else to it. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this, guys. It was a pretty interesting game. In fact, I really enjoyed it, so thanks for watching.